Crack the ceiling, then I pour up the lean. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good today. Pack of wood and then I roll up the tree. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good. Crack the Henny, then I pour it up. Then I drink it up, never throw it up. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good today. Make the money, then I count it up. Then I wrap it up, gonna put it up. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling so damn good. Drink the medicine and
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey guys.
So, we're doing a reaction. It's a little different. It's not music or anything like that. We react to anything. But we're doing a reaction to Candace Owens. If you don't know who Candace Owens is,
Google her.
Google her, YouTube her, and just listen to the stuff she say.
This is the second video because I want to react to the first video.
Yeah, but this one is you know,
This one's
she
worse.
said a lot of stuff, but okay, so we don't, me personally, and I know Hannah is kind of the same way. As far as politics go, we don't really like share and express our views as far as politics and as far as YouTube go. For us, I like to say that I respect anybody for their opinion, of no matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can have an opinion, and I might feel like it's wrong. You might feel like it's right. Everybody has the right to have their own opinion on how they feel, right? So that's why I don't express politics, or we get into politics or religion or anything like that. And Candace Owens is a person that's like, is in the middle of everything that's going on right now politically. But this situation right here is just, I'm not even gonna give you my words on this. I want you to see this first.
The first video I seen of her was with Cardi B, and that was okay, cool. That was, you know, ha ha ha. But this right here is like,
Yeah.
it's not this.
Yeah, but this, let's just watch this video first before I have my comments about Candace Owens.
All right, everybody. Hello. Time to have one of those little chats because it seems that the Black Lives Matter narrative is getting more and more ridiculous every single day. It's getting more and more ridiculous every single day. It's getting more and more ridiculous every single day. And here we have a stunning case, Breonna Taylor, where actually every single piece of information that was provided us through the media was an absolute lie. Just an absolute lie. Like, actually nothing that they told us about this case was true. If you have been following this case from the beginning, we have been told that Breonna was an EMT who was living life the right way. The police officers showed up accidentally to the wrong door and shot her while she was asleep. All of it, a lie. Not even one part of it's true. Not one piece of that was true. First and foremost, Breonna Taylor was not an EMT. She had been in the past, but she had to step away from being an EMT because a car that she had rented all the way back in 2016 was involved in a homicide that was being investigated. A homicide which involved her boyfriend, the one that was a drug dealer, her ex-boyfriend at the time that she has been killed, Jamarcus Glover. This is all about a very intricate drug ring that the police officers had been following for years in this town that Breonna Taylor was unfortunately at the center of. Now, I'm going to say a sentence that nobody is going to care about because the media, when you tell the truth, always ignores this sentence. Breonna Taylor did not deserve to die. It's common sense. She was mixed up with the wrong people. It's unfortunate that she's dead. You know, this is one of those instances when you're growing up and your parents tell you not to hang out with the wrong people because you can end up in the wrong circumstances and you can get yourself into trouble. This is something that we learn when we're children, when you become a teenager, when your parents are trying to guide you and make sure that you don't hang out with the wrong people or fall into the wrong crowd, as we like to say. But for whatever reason, this is no longer being held as a norm for Black America. It doesn't matter if we're hanging in the wrong crowd. It doesn't matter if we're actively helping our boyfriends move drugs, which is what Breonna Taylor was actually doing, okay? This is the truth. You can head and you can read all of the police investigative reports. It doesn't matter that the police had an actual warrant to be at her place, that they had been trailing her, that her name was on the warrant when they showed up at her place. It was not the wrong address. Everything the media told you was a lie. The police officers had every right to be at her property. They had been monitoring that property for weeks. They had a poll camera watching every single thing that that group of people did, because they were involved in meth, crack cocaine, they were moving drugs, and Jamarcus Glover was the person who was at the center of it, okay? That's the truth. You were told that the police officer shot her while she was asleep. No, she was standing in a hallway, right? You were told that she had nothing to do with anything and it was all an accident. It was not an accident, okay? She was knee deep in drugs. You can actually log on and read the transcripts from when her ex-boyfriend, Jamarcus Glover, got arrested back in 2018. They actually recorded their jail conversations between her and the entire network of the people that were moving drugs through the neighborhood, okay? He was asking her to do things in his place. She was involved, and she was also made it very clear that she was worried because she loved him so much that he was going to end up in serious trouble one day. Unfortunately, she didn't worry enough about herself and what trouble she was going to be in one day. This is a case that comes down to personal responsibility. Of course, the most important part about this case, which no one is talking about, is that they fired first. They shot a police officer, and I shouldn't say they, I should say the guy that she was with at the time, Kenneth Walker, fired and shot a police officer before hiding behind her and running to the back of the house. And she then took all of the bullets from the returning police officer as they were standing in a hallway side by side next to each other. So the police come, they knock on the door, okay? And they say police. Why do we know that's true? Because Kenneth Walker himself verified that him and Breonna Taylor heard the knock at the door, and the neighbors came outside to speak to the police officers. The neighbors have verified that the police officer said it's the police. Okay? Now, you hear people who have white guilt, and people doesn't matter. How do they know it was the police? I don't know. Shoot first and ask questions later. I wouldn't know it was the police if you knocked and said the police. Okay, would you grab your gun and fire at them? Wouldn't you look out the window, check the peephole to see what's going on before the police officers barge into your house, which they have a right to do because they have a warrant on them? Do you understand that Breonna Taylor is dead? That is sad. It is the fault of Kenneth Walker for firing at a police officer. Black Lives Matter started at the principle that unarmed Black Americans were being shot and killed for no reason by police officers. We have now dramatically shifted the narrative to Black Lives Matter, which means even when a Black American is armed, shoots a police officer, the police officer has a warrant to arrest and to inspect that property and take drugs, still the Black American is somehow a victim. That is pointedly ridiculous. And let me also tell you something else. It is the bigotry of low expectations. Stop believing. If you are a white person, you've been defending this, and you've been wearing a Breonna Taylor t-shirt, and you've been demanding justice for Breonna, then you should be demanding that her boyfriend serves time in prison for firing at a police officer. You should not be demanding a police officer's figurative head on a stick, okay? These are the people that protect and serve the community. You keep saying Black Lives Matter. Did any of the Black lives that were having crack cocaine moved into their neighborhood by this whole organization of criminals matter to you at all? Did you know maybe somebody overdosed on the drugs that this group was selling? Did that matter to you at all? Did any of that? The Black lives only matter when the narrative that you hope, that you wake up every day and you hope that you're going to see, is that police officers are killing Black people for no reason. This case is an unfortunate one. It is not a case of police brutality. It is not a case that has anything to do with race, okay? You could have put a white person, you could have put a meth lab in there. If police went to serve a warrant and it was a bunch of white kids selling meth and they knocked on the door and the meth kids shot at them, the police would have shot back. It's called protecting your life because police officers have families to go home to. What more do you want police officers to do They investigated. They had a warrant. They were at the right residence. Breonna Taylor's name was on the warrant. Jamarcus Glover's name was on the warrant. They did everything the right way. They went to the court, got the warrant, knocked on the door, and announced themselves, even though they didn't have to. They could have knocked it. They could have barged on the door and gone in the way that the FBI raided Roger Stone's house. Okay? Did Roger Stone, by the way, shoot FBI raid officers when they swarmed his household? Did he go, oh, well, I didn't know who it was, so I just shot first and asked questions later? No, he didn't do that. So it is entirely possible that when police officers knock to serve your warrant and bang down your door, that you don't shoot at a police officer and then hide behind your girlfriend and allow her to take the bullets. Why are we not having that conversation about personal responsibility? Oh, I know, because we always have to infantilize Black America. So this is movement is no longer about saving Black lives. No, it's about treating Black people like toddlers. It's no longer about equality. It's about exceptions. It's no longer about equality. It's about entitlements, right? You want Black people to be entitled to things that no one else in America are going to be entitled about. That's what Black Lives Matter activists are about, right? Beyonce, I want justice for Breonna Taylor. I called the Attorney General and told him I want justice. Oh, because you sang single ladies, you can make a phone call and tell them not to do their job, and you want to make sure police officers serve time for what? For defending their lives when they're fired at? What is wrong with you guys? What kind of a world do we live in when we can no longer distinguish between right and wrong? Do you realize how scary that is? That we have people that are actively defending criminals every single day. There has not been a single instance this year that Black Lives Matter has jumped on where the Black person was not involved in some level of criminality. Not George Floyd, who was on fentanyl, ingested fentanyl before his arrest, was obviously, if you have now read the labs, they are saying he died of a drug overdose and there was actually no injury sustained to his neck despite watching the case, right? A man that had methamphetamine and fentanyl and was trying to use counterfeit bills. Was he a pure victim? Absolutely not. Jacob Blake, he was a guy who had a warrant out for his arrest for digitally raping a Black woman and telling her that she smelled like she had been with someone else, right? According to the warrant for his arrest. Does anybody care about that Black woman? No, because it's not about Black lives, right? But Jacob Blake, he got shot in the back as he was going to grab a knife and was running from police officers. So who cares? He's a victim because he got killed by police officers. Rayshard Brooks physically beats police officers, grabs their taser and shoots at them in Atlanta, and oh my God, watch the city burn, because this guy, they should have just let him go. They should have just let Rayshard Brooks leave with the taser, because it doesn't really matter. They could have gotten him later, because the job of a police officer is to make sure that the Black man gets away safely with a weapon and is allowed into a neighborhood. Not that the Black man should be apprehended immediately because he's a risk to the rest of the community. A job for a police officer is to protect and serve the community, not to protect and serve the criminals. Yes, it would be nice if criminals didn't fight back when they were being apprehended. It would be nice. In a perfect world, all of these warrants and all of these arrests would go off without a hitch, right? But a level of that taking place, if we actually want to aspire to that perfect arrest scenario, then it takes two to tango. You have to listen to instructions from police officers. Is this the result of the Black community having such a high rate of father? I'm just trying to understand. I can't wrap my head around not listening to instructions and not listening to authority and running away and beating and trying to hit a police officer. It boggles my mind. Like, are we just not being raised to think that we have to listen to any rules? And is that breakdown of family also transpiring because we have a culture of celebrities like LeBron James who are pretending that these people are all victims and innocent, and people like Beyonce writing letters to attorney generals who will not acknowledge that we are playing a role in this? Philando Castile in 2016 was an honest-to-God victim. We all remember watching that tape. It was sad. It was devastating. The police officer thought he was going to pull for a gun when in reality he was pulling for his wallet. That is an example of a very sad case, an example of a true victim. I have not seen any cases this year that Black Lives Matter has presented where I cannot pinpoint the exact thing that the person did that was wrong. Breonna Taylor was a victim of her own bad choices and circumstances, okay? She was a victim of her boyfriend and her boyfriend's bad choices and circumstances. This is what happens when you hang out with drug dealers, people that have guns on them, people that their instinct is to shoot first. This is what happens, okay? So spare me your white guilt. Do me a favor and spare me your white guilt. If you are a black person, spare me your Black Lives Matter mantra and think for a second about the society that you are helping to create and build right now. If you are an American, have some decency to start defending our police officers and our law enforcement officers who get up every day and suit up and do the right thing by trying to remove criminals from the street. This poor police officer was shot at, and now he's going to have to watch all of Louisville burn because of a narrative that somehow it was unjust. When he got shot, it was unjust somehow because he's a police officer and was doing the right thing, that he's evil. I'm just getting so sick of this. Black Lives Matter, in my opinion, is a terrorist organization. It is sowing division in this country, and it is collecting billions in the process, and nobody knows where the billions of dollars is going. It is certainly not going to help rebuild black communities. In fact, you are going to see that tonight when another black community burns because of what happened. Because Black Lives Matter is in there burning down a community once again where black people live, where black people work, where law-abiding black people like myself and the majority of the black community have to sit here and suffer this BS narrative. That is all I wanted to say tonight. Thank you guys for listening to my rant.
You know what? My problem is this. I want to narrow down. I'm not going to answer like to all the different charges and nonsense she was saying. I'm going to narrow it down very, very small for you so you can understand. You are picking and choosing the narrative that you want to discuss, right? You're picking and basically saying Breonna Taylor was a drug dealer. That's exactly what you're saying.
Knee deep in it.
She basically said the ring, she was in the center of the ring. It was all around her.
Hold on. And then the boyfriend is not even the same boyfriend. You peeped that?
Yeah, I did. So whoever this was that was shooting at the police first, right? They shot at the police first, and then he used Breonna Taylor as a shield, right? This is what you said. Use him as a shield, and they shot her up or whatever. And then you want to make a point and said the news doesn't say this at any time. Mm-hmm. You know that it's. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember because I'm just steaming how she said they don't say that it's a shame that she ended up dead. Okay, first of all, the news and nobody will ever say it's a shame she's dead because we all know that. Common sense, we all know that. Anytime any person loses their life, of any color, any race, any creed, any religion, it's a sad thing. It's not a joyous occasion. So I have to be specific and say to you, such a shame. You know, I guess if I don't say such a shame, then, you know, I guess I'm saying to myself, whew, glad that wasn't me. You know, you are so delusional. It is, it's almost laughable. And I know for a fact that something is wrong with you because you are picking and choosing parts of the narrative in order to express, to make you feel like you're right. So I can pick another part. Let me pick a part of the narrative for you, since everybody that you're talking about is they're either known criminals, like you said, known criminals, and the Black Lives Matter movement is basically crap. Let me pick a narrative. These so-called criminals or drug dealers or whatever, we didn't bring drugs over to this country. Mm-hmm. We are not the ones in control. We didn't create this system. The people that you refuse to say created this system. Mm-hmm. They created it. They bring it over. They profit from it. They profiting all the way around the board, right? They're profiting all the way around the board. And you're looking at the bottom rung, right? So you're supposed to be this intelligent woman, right? Just because you can articulate yourself very well doesn't mean you're smart at all. At all. Because you are not. Because if you want to get down to the root of the problem, because for you the root of the problem is here's a bunch of criminals that black people are jumping behind a bunch of criminals and say, hey, you know, Black Lives Matter and you know, these people are facing police brutality, which anytime you get killed by a police officer, you're facing that's police brutality to me. If I didn't pull out a gun and shoot you, that's, I don't care who I am. I don't care what I did or who I am. I'm a person. And that's what you fail to realize. You are categorizing all black people or Black Lives Matters movement, then we're just following a bunch of criminals and thugs. That's basically what you're saying. You're delusional. You are so delusional. It's not even funny. And I feel sorry for you. You know, I think you need real help, you know, like real help. Like the next time you want to pick and choose a narrative, go to the people that's running the game, not to the people that's playing the game. Go to the people that created the game. There's a young lady that's dead over this, right? And I don't care that you say, oh, you know, it's sad.
She wasn't asleep in the bed. She was in the hallway. So?
I don't care what she was. I don't care if she was swinging from a pole in the middle of the hall. You know what I'm saying? On top of the roof. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And that's the point that I want to make out of all of this. Doesn't matter. She still was unarmed. She still was shot. She was still killed. You was talking about some, oh, he was using that. Really? So tell me, when is it that somebody uses a human shield and the police say, well, we just shoot through that shield? You know why? When black lives don't matter. Make sense to you? Make sense to you now? Even on the movies when people get a human shield, you know what I mean? Or you got a hostage. Police don't come in shooting. They don't come in shooting. They get a whole hostage negotiator and all that. Not these police.
Well, they don't shoot.
And this is I'm just responding to what she's saying.
Well, they don't shoot more than once or twice. Like they shot her
7 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh my God, she is stuck on. It's just crazy because this chick is just stuck on. She's stuck on.
Stupid.
Yeah, she's stuck on stupid. But she's just stuck on like facts in the case that one, you was not there. You wasn't there. You wasn't there. You can read reports all day long. And
reports get changed every day.
Listen, you can talk that noise in your world like this don't happen. Oh, it happens. And it happens regularly. Regularly. The only problem is now, like everybody said, we got cameras and social media. That's all. That's all.
It's been going on forever.
And I will not say that every situation is right. Like that, you know, like I give you that much credit, even though you was on something else. You know what I'm saying? You applied it to the wrong thing. I will not say everybody is innocent. You know what I mean? Everybody is not. There are bad situations. You know what I'm saying? Every police officer is not bad. I will say that. I know a lot. Been around a lot. Have friends, family. All of them are not. But I've also experienced a lot that is. A lot. Like a lot. Again, you keep living in your dream world. You keep living in your dream world. I hope everybody is cool over there and they all know you where you at, cause I don't know where you at.
She don't come to the league anyway, so.
I don't know. You are. Oh my God, I don't know. Like
she don't go to the person that you go.
I'm lost. I am lost. She is from another planet. And the worst thing is, we the same race. That's what make it worse. Like that's what make it worse. Like, do you have any real friends that actually been through anything for real? Have you ever met anybody that actually lived this life? Have you ever seen the other side? Have you ever experienced any type of racism or anything like that? Even though I know you look the same color I do, you sure don't act. I'm done. I just, you know, and I don't like talking about people. I try my best to stay neutral. I try to stay neutral. You know, I would rather let you talk yourself into a hole. That's what I would rather do. I wouldn't do it. I would let you do the talking. Because the more you talking, the less I talk, the smarter you think you are. And the more you know nothing about it. Or know nothing about what I know. So, I'd rather you talk. But in this case, I really had to say, I just really wanted to let it out. I don't know. You know, forget, you know, did they have a warrant to go in that house? They did. They went to the wrong house. They went to the right house. You know, they went to the left house. They went to the right way's house. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is, here's a young lady's life that's gone unnecessarily that they didn't have to do. And if I'm speaking upon the way you said it, it's even worse. Because they just shot through a shield like she was a piece of meat. That's worse. I mean, has it clicked into you? That's worse than being shot in the bed when you was asleep, turned around. They shot her looking her dead in the eye. Like I was saying, it is unacceptable that this young lady lost her life. No matter what the reason is. And we don't care what the reason is. I don't care if she was the biggest crack, if she was the king of New York, queen of New York. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. All we know is a police force that is highly trained, went in and shot her. And your way sounds even worse. So which way would you like it to be? Your way or the way that the media is portraying it? In any case, doesn't matter. It's still bad. And then you're defending it. You're basically trying to say that she was a drug dealer, so that's what she get. Why don't you just come out and say it? Just don't beat around the bush. Don't beat around the bush. You know? Just go ahead and say it. Say what's on your mind. Say how you feel. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Just say you don't like us. Just say you don't like... I was going to say, don't just say you don't like your own people. Just go ahead. I know that's what you want to say. You know, don't worry. We ain't going to be mad at you. We already know you got problems. We already know you got issues. So it don't even matter. Just come out and say it. My fault. Go ahead and end the video then.
Bye, y'all.
Damn, you ain't got no love with it, huh?
Thank you for watching the video. Make sure y'all go Google this hoe. I mean... Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
And spit the flute, pour up yellow, same color Pikachu. Yeah, the tussin got a nigga bustin', pour a whole pint in a bowl of fruit. Then let it soak in with the vodka. Pour a line in a pina colada. By the end of the day, I done emptied the bottle. I'm coolin' the Kuna Matata.